China's high-speed rail has two locomotives. How does the novel U-turn method work? How did such a long high-speed train turn around? Compared with other countries' high-speed rail U-turns, what are China's advantages? Is the U-turn method of high-speed rail in other countries really ancient? Hi, everyone. Welcome to Hot Topics Time, a channel to interpret news from a new perspective and explore the wisdom behind the news. Before we start today's video, please subscribe to our channel, which is the encouragement that we can create more videos. In today's video, let's take a look at the high-speed rail U-turn methods of various countries in the world, as well as China's latest high-speed rail U-turn method. Why is China's high-speed rail U-turn method so amazing to the world? How is the wisdom of the Chinese reflected this time? Okay, let's take a look. In some European and American countries, in addition to the trains that can travel in both directions, these countries will prepare lines specially used for the U-turn of high-speed rail. For them, there are three common ways for trains to turn around, namely bulb line, triangle line, and big turntable. First, let's talk about the bulb line. Simply put, the track is laid in a large circle at the terminal station. After the train enters the station, the locomotive is disconnected from the train compartment, and then the train driver drives the locomotive to walk around and turn back, and the U-turn is completed. It is precisely because the track that needs to be turned around is like a light bulb, so it is called bulb line. It can be seen that this U-turn method is not only extremely low-tech, but also occupies a lot of space. After all, the length of the bulb line needs to complete the task of the locomotive running a circle, so the track must not be too short. Next is the triangle. It is not difficult to see from the name that the track that needs to be turned around this time is like a triangle, which is why the name of the triangle line comes from. For a triangular line, you can build a triangular line in your mind, take one of the vertices as the starting point, set it as point A, and set the other vertices as point B and point C in the counterclockwise direction. When the train enters the station, the locomotive is also disconnected from the train compartment, and then the train driver drives the train from point A to point B, then from point B to point C, and then from point C to point A, thus completing the work of turning around. Compared with the bulb line, except that the U-turn track has changed shape and slightly increased the technical content, other places have basically remained unchanged, which is also a waste of land resources. Look at the third big turntable. This way of turning around is much more advanced. When the train enters the station, the locomotive is disconnected from the train compartment again, and then the train driver drives the locomotive to a large disc that can be rotated in advance, and the diameter of this disc is equal to the length of the locomotive. Then, through a simple mechanical operation, the large disc is rotated 360 degrees, so as to realize the work of turning the train around. It is said that the earliest rotation method required more than a dozen strong men shouting slogans and turning the turntable like a cow pulling a mill, which was quite laborious. Up to now, although there is an electromechanical rotation method and the floor space is small, it still consumes manpower and material resources, and there is a lot of waiting time. In Chinese elementary school textbooks, there is a text called Zhan Tianyou, which specifically records the U-turn method of traditional Chinese trains. In the process of Zhan Tianyou's construction of the Beijing-Zhangjiago Railway, because he wanted to build the railway in the mountains, he had to face the problem of large slope. In order to reduce the consumption of the construction line and reduce the cost, Zhan Tianyou designed a herringbone railway. The principle of the herringbone railway is to use the two front and rear locomotives of the train. When the train is going uphill, the front locomotive is responsible for pulling, and the rear locomotive is responsible for pushing, so that the power of the uphill can be satisfied. When the train passes the fork of the herringbone line, the direction of the train is reversed. The front of the train that was originally responsible for pulling is changed to be responsible for pushing, while the front of the train, which was originally at the rear of the train, became the front end of the train and was responsible for pulling the train forward. Thereby, it overcomes the difficulty that the train has to climb the surrounding high-drop terrain environment. Such a design can not only shorten the line, but also realize the U-turn of the train, and there is no need to disconnect the connection between the locomotive and the carriage. So, with the development of science and technology, how does China's current high-speed trains turn around? Are they still using the old-fashioned way of turning around? Okay, let's take a look at China's latest high-speed rail U-turn. Compared with the previous U-turn method of trains, the U-turn method of China's high-speed rail is very advanced now. A careful audience may find that the two ends of China's high-speed trains are very similar, as if they have two train heads in different directions. Indeed, at present, high-speed railways in China usually have different locomotives in two directions, and such locomotives are different from traditional two-way trains in that there are locomotives in different directions at the head and tail of the train. Therefore, high-speed rail drivers can drive in the reverse direction without turning around. To put it simply, when the high-speed rail arrives at the station, China does not need to move the locomotive, nor does it need to disconnect the locomotive from the carriage. The driver only needs to walk to the other end to complete the high-speed rail U-turn. For this kind of U-turn, many netizens will definitely ask, why do we still not feel the direction of the train has changed after the front of the train is turned? This is because when we take the high-speed rail, every time we get on the high-speed rail, the direction the high-speed rail is facing is the direction of the high-speed rail. How does the seat of the high-speed rail change? It turns out that before the high-speed train runs, the crew members on the high-speed train need to rotate the seats at the same time when cleaning the compartment. The seats in the high-speed train carriages can be rotated 180 degrees. There will be a foot switch in each row of seats next to the aisle. Through this switch, the train crew can easily rotate the seats 180 degrees so that they face the direction of the train. In China, high-speed rail is a good transportation choice. It not only has the characteristics of fast speed, high efficiency, and strong stability, but also is the safest way to travel. More importantly, high-speed rail can help passengers enjoy the scenery along the way and not miss every trip. Moreover, with the rapid development of high-speed rail in China in recent years, through the continuous improvement of high-speed rail technology, China's high-speed rail has become the safest railway system with the longest operating mileage in the world. Okay, that's all for today. Please put your comments below and share your insightful ideas with other people. Thank you so much for your continuous support. Your precious time with us is highly appreciated. Hot Topics time to explore the wisdom behind the news. We will see you in the next video.